Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
Saturday, January 2026. Welcome to Ukraine Update. This week didn't just escalate, it snapped. Across 3 continents, the ground shifted at once, and every shift pointed back to the same place, Ukraine. A foreign regime collapsed overnight. A world leader was taken into custody. A meeting in Florida triggered a geopolitical chain reaction. A false flag unraveled in real time. The largest drone attacks of the entire war hit Ukrainian cities. And the United States issued its bluntest warning yet about what Russia may be preparing next. Inside Ukraine, intelligence pulled off one of the most sophisticated operations to date, and Kyiv's entire wartime leadership structure changed in a single announcement. And all of this is happening as Ukraine enters 2026 with a military arsenal that will redefine the battlefield and terrify the Kremlin. That's the first few days of 2026. I'm Slavie. This is Ukraine Update. Let's say hello to the panel. James, I see you're back. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Howdy. I'm doing great. You know, we had terrible snow out here in Donbass, and but you know, there's been fewer drone attacks, so that's great. You know, it's I just got some great news about my laboratory and getting some new engineers, and we're going to be really cranking out the fiber optic drones. So I'm very happy about that. Those of you who'd like to support my work with Azov International Battalion, you can go to yukraine.com. So that's the letter Y, the word Ukraine, all together.com, and help support my battalion in the work that we're doing. And you can see some of the things that we need for the laboratory right there, in fact. So you can donate directly to the International Battalion in the first link up at the top, or you can, you know, help us buy, you know, supplies that we need on the daily basis in the links below. So
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to hearing more from you. Johnny, welcome. How's it going?
It's going good. We have a little bit of rain here in Los Angeles. I was kind of curious to hear some more from James. Maybe we'll get to do that a little later in the stream. How does the snow affect the battlefield? Like, I know, any kind of
All right,
change
well,
of
we can leave
weather.
the conversations until later because these are just introductions right now.
Yeah, but
Commander
good
McMillan,
question.
Commander McMillan, how's it going?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Great intro.
Keep it brief.
And then our host, Dick, how are you?
Oh, I'm fighting some back issues, but it's better today than yesterday. Yesterday was way more of a struggle. And then, pulling my head out of the cloud of a muscle relaxant and a painkiller and maybe a beer or two as well. It's just the whole world has completely flipped again. I barely even got to have a hangover in the new year, and all of a sudden it's gone to hell. And speaking of which, Slavie, where would you like to start in this mission of what the fuck is going on?
Well, the latest on United States did a special military operation on Venezuela, and it was major, resulting in the capture of the Venezuelan dictator, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife, Celia Flores. They were both dragged in the middle of the night out of bed. This was a coordinated strike, targeted military and intelligence infrastructure across the country. The operation, which began shortly after midnight on January 3rd, last night, marks this as the most significant U.S. action in South America in decades. And this directly impacts networks that are actually tied to Russia's global operations and China's as well, and Iran's. So this is huge, and we can all argue both cases that this is terrible news for Ukraine, but also at the same time, maybe it's not so bad.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yes, definitely.
Well, it's an American military operation. I'm feeling compelled every 15 minutes to get up and salute a flag or something. Just idiotic.
But think about this. Nobody's talking about the Epstein files.
You think? You think this might be a distraction? No, couldn't possibly be. Not our good orange president.
Yeah, he wouldn't literally come that close to starting a war just to get away from the fact that he's an absolute creep, and so are his buddies. No.
Thing is, United States is framing this, it was for the drugs, because it was Venezuela that was importing, fentanyl and cocaine to United States, but it's really about oil. And actually Trump, he admitted it. It was like, this is about oil. So it's going to be very interesting to see how will United States go about it legally, trying to get Maduro on these drug charges. And there's also weapons charges that they're trying to get him on that were supposed to go against United States. But it's legally, that this is not the case. United States just wants to go in for the oil. That's all.
If this had anything to do with drugs, then that other dictator drug guy wouldn't have been freed by Trump.
Yeah.
Exactly. This was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, the real question is, what lawyers are they going to use to prosecute this when they just had over 2,000 of the Justice Department lawyers quit?
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure that there's some Fox News commentator they'll draft into the job. This isn't about actually trying a case via jurisprudence. This is about the court of public opinion. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a show for social media in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Well, that dog ain't going to wag itself, guys. So.
Well, we have responses from Russia came out with a response really fast. They condemned the U.S. operation as an act of armed aggression that is deeply concerning and commendable, calling the pretext like narco-terrorism untenable and demanding an urgent UN Security Council meeting to prevent escalation. The Russian Foreign Ministry expressed solidarity with Venezuela, urging dialogue over force, while Putin warned of serious regional and global consequences and accused the US of ideological hostility. Guys, this is great because we want Trump upset with Russia because they were getting along way too friendly.
Yeah.
And so this could play out well on don't forget, recently, which we'll get to it, Putin lied to Trump about Ukraine striking his house with 91 drones. And later on, the CIA, they told Trump, the intelligence, they're like, no, that didn't happen. And then Trump retweeted an article. They're like, yeah, you're right. Of course, he couldn't say it himself to Putin or whoever.
Right.
But he just retweeted an article. So at this point right now, I think Trump is pretty upset. And if Russia keeps going like this, good. This is good. We're on the right track. Also, China's response. So Chinese foreign minister was actually in Venezuela the night before meeting with Maduro. And China stated it is deeply shocked by U.S. military strikes and capture of Maduro, strongly condemning the blatant use of force against a sovereign state as a hegemonic behavior that violates international law, infringes on Venezuelan sovereignty, and threatens peace and security in Latin America and the Caribbean. China urged the U.S. to abide by international law and the UN Charter, firmly opposing such actions.
As they just swarm around Taiwan while they're typing that out. Come on.
The difference in their thinking is that Taiwan is part of China.
Right.
So anything they do there is justified. Venezuela is a sovereign state. Taiwan is not sovereign. It's a breakaway republic.
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
the same way Putin considers Ukraine, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the Volvo calling the bread truck square, though.
Indeed.
So we also have Ukraine's response. Ukraine expressed full support for the U.S. operation, with the foreign minister stating it defends nations' right to live free from dictatorship, oppression, and human rights violations, reiterating that it never recognized Maduro's legitimacy after disputed elections and violence against protesters. Ukraine calls for a UN response while backing U.S. actions against authoritarianism, viewing it as a blow to Russia's international network. Now, keep in mind, Ukraine is walking a thin line here. Ukraine needs to keep U.S. support, at least symbolically. So I think they're doing the right thing of how they also worded it as well, because they did say what comes next needs to be legally worked out. Also, specifically, Zelensky's comment, which is my favorite, commented on Maduro's capture, saying, "What can I say here? If this can be done to dictators like that, then the United States of America know what they should do next."
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
If only.
So
Yes.
there's also Russia's operation in Venezuela. Russia has been a key ally to Maduro, providing military support, advisors, economic aid, oil deals, and troop deployments to counter U.S. pressure. The capture disrupts these, potentially forcing the Russian withdrawal or confrontation, as Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez fled to Russia. So he's in Russia as we speak. So this is very interesting. And this completely weakens Russia's Latin American influence, where Venezuela was a strategic foothold.
Yeah.
So Russia, they sold weapons to Venezuela. There was Venezuela let them do like dirty oil deals as well. So basically, Venezuela let Russia do these deals and fund Russia's war machine. That's why it was a key ally there as well.
Right. Right. Which, where do you, I agree. There's angles in there that can be good for Ukraine.
It troubles me that Zelensky kind of applauded the operation because it has so many parallels to the Russian attack. It's the might makes right justification, and that really
But he's in a tight space, right? Because
I totally get that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Here's my take on it. Watching those air attacks, okay, that's something I witness every day, multiple times a day, around me all the time, and I just feel so deeply for the people of Venezuela. I mean, to me, it's normal now. I actually have trouble sleeping without explosions, in fact.
That ain't right.
I wake up like, hey, I didn't hear any booms. What's going on? My windows aren't shaking. But real people shouldn't have to live that way.
No way.
And I just feel, whatever else you want to say about this, it's the people of Venezuela who are being affected. And I hate to see this. So whatever else, I just have these very deep feelings about that,
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, how could you not?
I kind of feel like for Ukraine, the silver lining is Ukraine is not in the middle of this, and United States is kind of clashing with Russia over this right now. So it could be like a positive spin. Unfortunately, Zelensky has to walk a tightrope, and like Commander said, he had to be on the side of United States in this case, even though you cannot unilaterally say I'm for United States or I'm for Maduro. Kind of sadly, Russia is being very consistent here because their main goal is to portray United States as an evil country. And this is a perfect opportunity for them to use this, which they're doing brilliantly. Ever since Elon Musk and Trump destroyed USAID and Russia and China entered those free markets, they're going to use this opportunity with Venezuela to instill this notion further that United States is being an evil country that's destroying leadership around the world.
Well, Putin has to pretend to not be Agent Krasnov's friend. That's the thing. They have to pretend to have a rivalry when in fact they're working towards the same goals, which is to divide up the world into three empires like 1984 and live out their 19th century imperialist dreams. So,
Yeah, totally accurate statement.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Sorry to be a downer today, guys. God damn.
It's unusual. We've got all this other time to, oh, nice. Let's get really down today.
Well, this is what happens when he's not woke up in the middle of the night by explosions,
Exactly. God. Actually, I had a great, I've been very nervous all week because I'm getting some new engineers. I just got some new engineers, and I wasn't sure how it was going to happen. I wasn't sure. It's all just came together literally minutes before our stream, and I'm so excited right now. And I sent all the engineers a message right before we started, and I said, "Your training begins at the crack of noon." And so I'm, things are rocking and rolling here. Things are good on my end. I have no reason to be the Debbie Downer. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Slavie, do you want to should we go to the next thing? Should we do a little dive into what James has got going on?
I do have a couple of super chats.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, there's one in a donor here as well. So let's switch over to applause mode.
Yes. Thank you so much, Papa Dutch, sending a super chat saying, my budget is so screwed. It's for a good cause. Great cause.
Good one, Papa Dutch.
And another super chat saying, ahoy to Commander Mac from a first class AT.
Nice. Yeah, we got a direct donation over here on the shills as well. Stephen Walsh came in with $26 direct, and it's, I hope all shills are doing well. Steve here is recuperating from frostbite and a broken shoulder. Oh, what a double punch, dude. Get well soon, buddy. Holy, that's tough. There must be a story in there somewhere.
I've never heard of someone getting frostbite on their shoulder, though.
Well, I think it's frostbite and a broken shoulder. So is that like
separately?
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe like a snowmobile accident, or something. It sounds awful. He says, I feel 2026 is going to be a wild ride, but at least we all got each other. Well said, buddy. Well said. He says, to all the great people around the world, especially the heroes, Slavie Ukraine.
Rome Slava.
Well done, buddy. Great one, Steve. Thanks so much. Always great to have you around, buddy. Absolutely. And then we got a super chat in the thing as well here. It's Johnny Nedregard in with super chat. Hello, Shillers, Slavie Ukraine. Heroam Slava.
Heroam Slava.
Thank you for the support, everybody. You know where it's going. It's going right to Azov now because we got James sitting with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. I mean, you just have no idea how big of a difference it makes, because this is a thing a lot of people don't know, because the Azov is not a part of the regular Ukrainian armed forces. We're actually part of the National Guard of Ukraine. So we're basically like a beefed up police force, just slightly. We don't get any of that international funding that's coming in to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. It goes to the army. Okay, all of our stuff comes from like the Ministry of the Interior or something, and we're not funded like ICE or something. Even it's all donations, and most of it is coming from Ukrainians themselves. So any help that you can give is really just makes such a huge difference.
Cool. Indeed, man. Well said. Good. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, no, we're clear on our side. So yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks. All support is great support, and it's very much appreciated. Also, it'd be a good time to say, remember to hit the like buttons on the streams, hit the subscribe button if you're new around the streams, and hit the share button. Click over to Facebook or whatever service you're into these days and give a shout to say this is where you're hanging out because it's cool and it matters. It really helps the channels out a lot.
It absolutely does. Kind of left my mind to say that because there's just so much happening.
I know.
But
yeah.
Thank you so much.
I know. I have the time I forget because I'm just such a squirrel chaser, right? But yeah. So
I think it's also important, we've talked a bit about the whole Venezuela thing. I think it's also important to talk about what's going on with Iran right now, because that plays into this same equation quite heavily.
It really does, Commander.
Well, let's get to Iran then. Let's talk about it. Get all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they say, follow the oil. So this, that's what we're doing.
Well, mass protests have erupted across Iran, spreading from Tehran to dozens of provincial cities, driven by a collapsing economy, soaring inflation, and a currency in freefall. According to the Deutsche Welle, Iran entered 2026 facing a nationwide demonstrations, shuttered shops, and a population struggling under inflation above 40%. Yep. Al Jazeera reported that the protests began after the Iranian rial plunged to a record low in late December, triggering 6 straight days of unrest and clashes with security forces. these protests are not isolated. They represent the most serious internal crisis Iran has faced since the Woman Life Freedom uprising in 2022. And they come at the worst possible moment for Russia, which, don't forget, Russia and Iran are allies, because Russia depends heavily on Iran for drones, missiles, and sanctions-busting trade. The protests are horrific. Some of the videos, I mean, the mullah's regime, I think they started shooting at the protesters.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, no,
vicious.
there have been open gun battles in the streets, because what's happening is the protesters will have government forces show up to try to shut them down. They'll start shooting at the crowd. The crowd then storms, beats the crap out of the security forces, steal their weapons, and now they're turning those weapons against the government. It's worth at this moment taking a moment to talk about Iran's security forces arrangements, because that potentially leads to where this may be headed in the end. You've got the Artesh, which is the conventional military, what we would think of as the Army, Air Force, Navy. You then have the Passandaran, or the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. They are entirely separate from the Artesh, and there's a lot of rivalry between the two organizations for allocation of funding. So the Revolutionary Guards have tank units, just like the Army does. So you've got two effectively duplicate organizations. Mm-hmm. Then there's a third organization called the Basij, who are effectively the provincial militia. Technically, they're under the control of the IRGC, but they're also kind of their own thing, because their leadership are appointed from their low-level, the towns and villages that they hail from. So they're answerable to, the Revolutionary Guard and up to the main government, but they are also kind of semi-independent. And then within the IRGC, you have a separate organization called the Quds organization, which is the force that orchestrates all of their unconventional and terror attack stuff. The support to Hamas, for example, with the October attacks a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. That was orchestrated by the Quds organization. So all of these agencies are competing with one another. And it's easy to visualize a situation where some enterprising officers in the Artesh may decide, hey, this is our opportunity to take control, and then you get fighting between Revolutionary Guard and the Army. And then you've got the protesters.
That's when it's really coming to that's when it's like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The protesters, the issue there, they don't seem to have much in the way of an organization. There's no figurehead they're holding up as this is the guy we want to succeed. But we're seeing a lot of people talking about bringing back the Pahlavi royal house.
Wow.
The heir is, I believe, living in the LA area. The issue there is you have to remember how despised the Pahlavis were by the non-urban population in Iran. The people in the big cities kind of liked them. That's where all the money was going, to improve the cities, kind of Potemkin village sort of thing, except real improvements.
Right.
So the farmers and the small towns and villages that make up the bulk of the Iranian population didn't see any benefit, and they hated them because they were making so many changes that were to the detriment of rural population. Mm-hmm. So anybody trying to bring back the Pahlavis, you potentially then end up with yet another faction involved in this multifaceted struggle for power.
Yeah.
So this is an extremely volatile situation, and I don't think anybody can make a good guess as to where it's likely to end up.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
it's the start of a civil war, essentially.
Yes, potentially.
Yeah.
It sure looks like it from the videos. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a war zone. If anything, it doesn't look like protests anymore.
Yeah, agreed. You know, when you see it, it's just, oh wow. I'm not
The
there.
thing that made me think that this is very likely to come to a head in terms of maybe a civil war or something is Iran is one of those countries that is really has the tendrils of the security apparatus go way deep into society. There's informants everywhere. There's CCTV cameras everywhere. And yet the protesters, let me try that in English this time. The protesters are making very little effort to camouflage who they are.
Yeah, because at a
They're
certain
not
point,
wearing masks or anything. They're out in the
at a
streets.
certain point,
protesting,
you're
fighting.
just like, I don't have anything to lose. You know,
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
that's showing. They don't have anything to lose. They don't care anymore. Screw it. We're doing this. That's
And as I brought up on the Sunday show a couple weeks ago, they're also facing a critical water shortage in Tehran and many of the cities in northern Iran right now,
Yeah, it's
to the extent that they are already engaged in forced evacuations of the capital. So they're rounding up people in poor neighborhoods, putting them on buses and trains and sending them outside the capital because there isn't enough water to support them.
yeah. That's only going to escalate tensions and all the stuff. You put it all together and you're just waiting for the match to touch the wick.
Exactly.
So, do you think that the tipping point was the currency?
That appears to be the case, and apparently, because some people have leaked this, there was an internal memo within the government to the banking industry saying, you need to start taking steps now to safeguard all your information.
Wow.
So be prepared to have not just the banks shut down, but the banks actually seized by the mob. So you need to duplicate all your files, secure all your currency electronically, evacuate that which you can to safer areas, i.e. out of the country potentially, that sort of thing.
That's
So, yeah.
effectively the government saying, "Oh shit, we're fucked."
Yeah, it's over.
Excuse my French.
Succinct way of putting it, yes. We're fucked.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
And
Yeah.
somebody said 40% inflation. To make sure you understand that, that's like 40% inflation per month.
Whoa.
That's not annually, that's per month.
I-
In the past couple of months, it's gone up that high.
Wow. That's enough to break
Yeah,
all the poor levels.
The prices have risen like by 72%, like just recently.
Wow.
So
Yeah, particularly
40%
things like
inflation, that
groceries.
all adds up.
Yeah.
Putin's got to be looking at this going, I mean, because that's going to be the breaking point, right? For Russia as well is, when the people, what Ukrainians often tell me is Russia will lose when their refrigerators defeat their televisions. I've probably said that before.
That's a very good analogy, yes.
Yeah, and it's the same kind of a thing, like when you're pushed down only into that survival mode, further down the Maslow's hierarchy, and then someone takes your bread away.
I can either
Screwball
starve or I can go
Clavas.
beat the crap out of the soldier on the street corner.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna end badly no matter what,
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
So I see this as a good thing for Ukraine potentially. Iran is an enemy of Ukraine. They openly support Russia with weapons. All the Shahid drones that are flying nightly into Ukraine are Iranian. Ukraine is suffering immensely because of what Iran is doing, because of their technology, their support of Russia. So this, of course, it's too early to say anything about what's happening. And Iran had these things before, like Slavie said, in 2022, they had this huge protest. This is just another one. And Iran kind of proved over the years that they're very resilient. They can withstand a lot of like bad economy, disconnect from the global economy. But hopefully this feels a little different, I think. And this could be a major shift. Russia is losing a hold of Venezuela. And if they're going to be losing a hold of Iran, that may be significant for Ukraine. And plus, I don't know if you guys heard it, but Trump said that he wants to get involved if they kill civilians. Like if Iran kills civilians, he's going to get involved.
Yeah,
That's past tense.
I don't know if we have to take his word seriously at this point. After they killed civilians, he didn't do anything, so it's still his words.
That's the thing with Trump. You never know if he's going to follow through on anything he comes out of his yapper, right?
Don't forget the operation earlier in 2025 when the United States hit Iran for their nuclear weapons, which weren't even there.
Yeah.
So, and that did kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable. Also, when we say Iran, we don't mean Iranian people. We mean the IRGC. I just want to make that correction and make that absolutely clear. We're not.
And the highest praise for the Iranian people and what they're doing, and the highest support for them. And I hope that
if you look at Iran before the 79 revolution, they were very westernized. It was reminiscent in a lot of ways to the way Turkey was pre-Erdogan. So it was, a high point of freedom in the region, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then the revolution occurs, boom. And I feel dirty saying high point of freedom because of the Pavlovia excesses, but all things considered, the way the country was being run, it was a modern, secularized quasi-democracy, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Well, I think of this as a continuation in many ways of the protesting back from 2022, 23.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just sort of died down and now it's just picked up. The difference is that it was ideological before. In other words, freedom as an idea that you want, which is great. But now it's a, there's a lot of people don't really care about that as long as they have food on their table. And now it's gotten that next layer of society that normally doesn't care about whether or not they're free or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's it. I just fear that it's going to turn into, because of these different armed forces within, like Commander, like you were saying, that's going to break down into, years and years of warlordism, and because so much of Iran has been, carved up by these different, essentially feudal. It's like a feudal system within Iran, and also I think Russia in many ways used Iran as a model for what they have done now to avoid sanctions and how to structure their economy, and to survive under sanctions. And now I think that Putin can see the limit of that as well. Who was it that said, if you really want to destroy a country, destroy their currency, debase their currency, and that's essentially what was the tipping point. I mean, there are obviously lots of other factors. In the case of like Turkey's had a terrible time with inflation and things, but they don't have the same sort of accumulation of factors that Iran has. So yeah, I just
We could do an entire 2-hour show on Turkey.
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to.
I could
I don't
spin
wanna
this
see-
globe behind me here, and we could just tap on it, and that would be a show. That's really how it's going right now in the world.
Dive.
Exactly.
I just hope that Iran doesn't become another Syria.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
the misery, human misery in Syria
plus
is
years
terrible.
war, because there might be a lot of people in Iran who do support freedom and westernization and things, but then there's a lot of people who don't, and those factions, and then there's factions within those factions. It could be a bad time for a long time.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
And I sure hope not.
I do have a couple of super chats coming in. And also, I do want to get into news about Ukraine, because Ukraine had some extraordinary news
Yeah.
this week, and I really don't want Venezuela to overshadow it. And we do have questions coming in about the news. So,
Please, Slavie, go for it.
and then we'll get to talking about James's thing. I promise. Let's just get into Ukraine first. We do have a super chat coming in from Papa Dutch saying, can your groups form supporting infrastructure such as repair shops for vehicles, trucks, and all that can be salvaged for parts?
Good
James?
words.
I think it was a question for James.
Oh, wait, sorry. Say again. I was reading the chat. What can be salvaged for parts?
Can your groups form supporting infrastructure such as repair shops for vehicles, trucks, and all that can be salvaged for parts?
Yeah, that is something that is in the works that we are, planning on. I mean, we're constantly facing problems with broken down vehicles for all sorts of reasons. Not only that they get hit or they hit mines, the freaking roads out here are like the surface of the moon half the time. We have vehicles that go to and from the position, but we also have logistic vehicles that are in the back line. Sometimes they're getting hit. And so vehicle repair is a constant. Actually, Monday is going to be a vehicle repair day for me. We just got a vehicle donated that has to be inspected. Brit, the Ukraine mission.
Yeah, he's in the chat, brother.
He's in the chat. So I guess I can just say it. So I'll just tell you. So Brit got a vehicle donated to him. And he has been outside of Ukraine for a little bit, and so he let me use it for a while. But now, because of the snow and the ice, it was parked on the street, and somebody hit it. And so it has needed some. It had actually had a couple of issues that needed to be. So we have to get that repaired, and then another vehicle for my lab has to be repaired. And that's just in my part of the battalion. There's other parts. It's constantly a problem. So, and we have some cars that we just have to junk them, and they're sort of building up, and it's going to be a real question. I don't know. It's something we're working on, though.
Then Papa Dutch is sending another super chat saying cutters, welders, and machine shops.
Yeah.
If you have that.
The
next super chat is, it seems to me Ukraine are experts at repurposing materials if they have the tools.
Yeah.
It's true. Ukrainians are very purposeful, especially when your life depends on it. So
yeah, there's a huge number of people with expertise in exactly that, like welding and all of these like heavy duty trades here. My father-in-law worked for the gas company, and so he's like a welder and a tradesman, built his own house, out of bricks. It just amazing the things he can builds all of his own farm equipment himself with his welder and all of his this stuff. Oh, it's amazing, So yeah,
a country full of MacGyvers, man.
Pretty much, really, and even in my lab, I've got this one guy, older dude, Ukrainian, and he's building newfangled drones all the time, just coming up with all kinds of crazy ideas, repeaters, and and different types of bombers and this and that, and 3D printing new things. The guy's, I don't know, 65 maybe, something like that, and just it's amazing the things he comes up with. It's fantastic. Yeah.
I got another super chat from Papa Dutch saying tools for Ukraine, playing off of Cars for Ukraine.
Yeah. And it's funny on my website, on the whyukraine.com website, it's a lot of what I had up there until recently. And because I'm getting all these new engineers, I'm going to go through a big thing and buy a whole bunch of tools. This week is going to be like shopping week for all the tools. So all the support you guys have given over the last few weeks is going to go mainly towards buying those tools for all of my new engineers.
Cool.
Previously, people have supported me on that site and bought tools. We have like 5 Ukrainian engineers, and I was able to buy almost all their tools as well. So, and that has been really super vital. So that was happening all summer and fall. People were supporting my laboratory in that way, and now we're expanding it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, donations are very welcome, people. Let's see if we can't get the nest egg up so they can get the labs up and running real nice for the new people.
And Hoobs Groove here just asked, what tools are you looking for? If you go to my website, you'll see them, and I have a bunch of new ones I have to put up on there, but as we need them, I put them up on the site. There's usually a little bit of a delay, but yeah. So
right.
You'll see.
I do have a super chat for you, James, if we can get that answered, and then we do have to keep on going. So the super chat for you, James, is, James, do you have a form letter or list of parts I can add into my letters, phone calls, my US reps, or things I can add in when I correspond with my legislators?
I mean, I could. I mean, find a way to get in contact through Dick here, and I can certainly produce that very quickly. It's an endless list, however. I mean, but yeah, we're constantly in need of, there's some things that we're constantly in need of, and some things that we need, periodically, like we need to buy a bunch of tools right now, but we're constantly in need of fiber optic spools, constantly in need of certain parts for drones, that sort of stuff. So yes, I absolutely can provide that list. Just get in contact somehow, and we'll.
Yeah, you can get in contact with me on the Discord server. You just right click my name and click message, or you can email me directly at thesillyshill@gmail.com. I know it's a tongue twister. It was a stupid idea, but we're stuck with it. The Silly Shill Show.
the Silly Shill Show sells seashores by the seashore.
Yeah,
exactly. And that message was from Bert Gummer. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, 6969. Thank you so much, Bert Gummer, 6969, for your super chat. Another super chat from Papa Dutch. He's saying, I asked
Papa Dutch, you've been drinking. I know it. Sorry, go ahead.
I asked Professor Gertis if there was a clinical term for someone who is consistently inconsistent in regards to Donald Trump. I think it's a medical condition.
Isn't that called Trump derangement syndrome?
That's what happens when you wake up with Putler's hand securely latched to your own nutsack. That's just how the behavior happens.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I thought he was a puppet, isn't it?
Well, he's squeezing him just to wake him up so that he can, then stiff his hand straight up his butt and use him like Kermit the Frog,
Right. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
And one last super chat from Papa Dutch saying, from Band-Aids to xylophones. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone, for your super chats. Love you. And thank you guys for donating to James's campaign as well. And let's get back to talking about Ukraine, news about Ukraine.
Indeed.
All right. And this is a really extraordinary news. So I'm very excited to present this. Ukraine's military intelligence faked the death of Denis White Rex Kapustin deceived the FSB, who exposed a Russian assassin network, and then collected a 500,000 bounty that Moscow paid out for the kill to Ukraine. This was not an accident, not a lucky break. This was a deliberate, multi-stage counterintelligence operation run at the highest level of Ukrainian intelligence and personally overseen by Kirill Budanov, which we will get to in just a second because he's got a new job.
Yeah, let's
So-
throw in a congratulations here. There
Yeah.
we go.
So
I
this
love
is
it.
pretty awesome. I mean, only Ukrainians can pull something like this. They pretended that this really a guy that defected from Russia was now working for Ukraine, and Russia put a bounty on his head for $500,000. Then there was another guy who Russia thought they were working, I mean, for Russia, and they faked Kapustin's death and then collected the money for Ukraine. And now Ukraine's going to use that money to defend
Yeah.
from Russia.
That's hilarious.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and so somebody said is Johnny Nedregard said it's Budanov's goodbye op.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but that's some really cool stuff. Like, you know, that's a nice little test of your covertness and your sneakiness, and you get rewarded with $500,000.
Yeah, so and FSB believed it, and then they paid the bounty on top of that, and then there was footage of this staged attack. It was a drone attack. Kremlin or FSB passed it as authentic, and then they transferred the 500,000 payment to the assassin, who was at that point fully under the HOR supervision, Ukraine's intelligence. And yeah, it was amazing. And then the big reveal was on January 1st, when this guy, Kapustin, appeared alive, speaking directly to Budanov on Zoom. Imagine how much the FSB is shitting their pants. Like,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And then,
also, you know, I noticed how, like this is like cute or something, but it has like a lot of impact in Russian circles, because I have a lot of Russian friends on social media that I follow and they follow me, and they were devastated of the news of Kapustin's death. And things like this, they really affect Russians. So Russians, they pay attention to something like this. And a lot of Russians, they're kind of like in between. They don't know who they should support. Should they support Ukraine? Should they support Russia? Should they support like the new Russia that's going to be after this Russia is going to get destroyed? And these kind of news, they push a lot of Russians over the edge, where they are kind of looking ahead, and they're like, you know, we're done with this moronic government. They're trying to kill heroes. Kapustin is a Russian guy. You know, he's fighting supposedly for the future free and democratic Russia. And it mobilizes a lot of Russians in their minds. And this kind of funny operation to us, it can have major impacts on the Russians, of them thinking ahead, thinking in the future, and kind of mobilizing behind Ukraine.
getting them to think ahead and think about the future is a real challenge, I would say.
Seems it.
Well, this
Yeah, I mean-
Kapustin guy is also, like, for Ukraine, he's very valuable because not only was he a defector, he like hated Russia, and he was fighting in the Russian volunteer corps who are fighting on Ukraine's side, who are Russians who are fighting for Ukraine. So those guys are called true Russian. I really are the only Russians I like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you want to watch a Russian panic, ask them, where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Total panic.
Yeah. Not on a nice toilet.
Kapustin does not position himself as he hates Russia. He presents an alternative. He says, I love Russia. I just have a different vision of Russia. Right now, Russia is occupied by mafia Kremlin group.
Yeah.
Right,
It's pretty
the next-
interesting, though. Going back to Budanov, it's really a change in terms of putting Ukraine on so much more of a war footing. That, the whole mentality shift. And I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's like essentially putting Gur in charge of the government, or
hold on. We didn't get to the news yet. So
right.
hold your horses. Don't push the horses.
All right.
Grab the reins.
See what I did there? So now Budanov becomes Zelensky's new chief of staff. Zelensky appointed Kirill Budanov, Ukraine's legendary military intelligence chief, as his new chief of staff, replacing Yermak after a corruption scandal forced Yermak's resignation. So Zelensky made this announcement yesterday, and Zelensky officially named Budanov head of Ukraine's military intelligence as the new chief of staff. This came at a moment where Zelensky described as requiring greater focus on security issues, the development of the defense and security forces, and the diplomatic track. Budanov, don't forget, was trained by the CIA. He has deep ties to the United States, and what is being told that America really likes him. At least the intelligence community. He's very well respected.
It's a bold move to show, like, we're taking corruption so seriously. We're bringing in the top spy to root this shit out. And that kind of, like, I see it as a strong statement as well.
Yeah. And Ukrainians really like him because he doesn't come from oligarchy. He was, just a regular guy. So he's
a soldier.
Yes, exactly. Not a regular guy, but like he doesn't come from that oligarch status like the previous, like Yermak did, which he was a multimillionaire producer of in the entertainment business and corruption, apparently. But this is a great move. Kirill, he's only 39 years old. He's been serving in Ukraine's military intelligence since 2020. He's architect of dozens of covert operations inside Russia. This is the man Russia tried to assassinate multiple times and failed. Also tried to assassinate his wife. Tried to poison her. She was in the hospital. She did survive, thank God. But he kind of reminds me of, the film Taken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, after his wife got poisoned, everyone's like, they're dead men walking, these Russians, whoever was involved in that.
Yeah, he's got a bit of like an action hero lead guy thing going on, like, So
he's very like, he never shows any emotion. He's very like...
Yeah.
Have
memes
James,
about
have you ever
that.
met Budanov, by the way?
No, I wish. That's on my bucket list for sure.
If you ever meet him, get me an autograph.
I say that too.
We did have a question coming in about who's going to take Budanov's place, and it's Oleg Ivashenko. I don't know much about him. Maybe James, you know more about him, but he's going to be the new chief, the new spy chief of Khur.
Yeah, no, when I join Khur, I will be able to let you know. But but that's down the road, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to do a little looking into him.
I don't know Oleg Ivashenko, but I do think that putting Ukraine's entire government on that sort of war footing and getting more security for Zelensky.
Hmm.
Is really what this is, and so I mean I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, great. A couple
the
of super chats
follow-up-
I want to get to
Okay.
before you go there, Slavie. David N with a direct Ko-fi donation there. Slavie Ukraine. Here on Slava. Wicked shout there, David N. Thank you so much. And then Niles Knudsen in the chat is gifting out memberships. There was 10 of them, no less. So huge shout, Niles. Thank you so much. We love having new members around here. Absolutely.
You know,
We also
one
have
thing
a couple of super chats from Papa Dutch. He's saying, my bong is better than your bong.
Yeah,
Another
well,
one from-
that explains it.
Yeah. $2 is what my 2 cents used to mean.
Yeah.
Another super chat. So, hey, Ivan, how are the toilets selling? It's called inflation.
Oh.
Papa Dutch, I like you when you're, with your
Playful?
bong.
So
All
one thing
right.
I was about to bring up is one thing me thinking about it as a soldier is what is this going to how is this going to affect the army, the military, the National Guard? Is Budanov going to help push for more reforms within the Ukrainian army and armed forces? For more change in terms of command training structure. How is this going to affect the soldiers on the ground is the thing. I mean, it remains to be seen. We can have hope, but I don't know. It's good that a soldier who was on the ground is now at the top. That is a big positive thing. So
Can't be bad. What do you think, Commander?
It's difficult to make large systemic changes when you're in the middle of a conflict. It can be done. It has been done, but it's a huge challenge. And you have to kind of limit how far you're willing to go.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect example, of course, is like during the English Civil War with the parliamentarian faction getting its ass kicked and basically a systemic pause while Cromwell creates the new model army, which suddenly changes everything on the battlefield because they're fighting in a very different way with actual trained, well-equipped personnel. I think Ukraine's war record thus far shows that they don't need huge changes, but they definitely probably need some. So it's a matter of knowing how far to push that envelope.
Yeah.
Another
makes sense.
question that was there was a follow-up to will Budanov be at peace negotiations now? I think that he was placed specifically to deal with Americans. So I don't know if he'll be the front man of peace negotiations, but to deal with Americans and perhaps get what Ukraine needs from Americans. As I said before, the CIA kind of brought him up. And he is, they really like him. So maybe it's for some kind of intelligence sharing purposes. I mean, we won't really know, but I think.
But the obvious question is how many of those CIA people who brought him up are still with the CIA? Because we know the Trumpians have purged so many federal agencies, including CIA.
Yeah.
But
that's
another different story. The Ratcliffe guy, is turning out to be a key person into kind of keeping swaying Trump towards Ukraine. Kind of the only one that's like
Radcliffe.
John Ratcliffe.
Okay.
So he turned out to be a key person here. He's the only one who didn't go into the Heritage Foundation kind of direction, because there's CIA people, like the still like old establishment people who are very much pro-Ukraine. And then you have like the Heritage People Foundation, like Stephen and all those Nazis who are obviously
conservative without being lunatic fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Fringe, all right.
Someone in the chat earlier was saying that when Budanov was wounded, the U.S. flew him out to Walter Reed. I don't know when that happened or how long ago that was, but that is significant.
Yes, you're right. He was in Walter Reed, getting his injuries looked after. So, and that was significant as well that
that he still has high friend or influential friends in high places.
Indeed.
That off.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big clue of where Budanov stands in United States intelligence community, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Man, so much crazy stuff happened this week, you guys. Oh my God.
I know.
It seems like only yesterday I was watching Zelensky roll his eyes as Trump was speaking. You know. When was that? Was that last week?
Yeah, that was actually just last week. I actually had this on as my second story to talk about that, but since we were going such speed, I was like, let me get to the good stuff. Because how many times did we talk about Trump and Zelensky and all of that? The meeting did not go well. Trump talked, those spaces were priceless by Zelensky. Because Trump talked to Putin. Putin managed to manipulate Trump before the meeting and after. Kind of hours after the meeting, Russia is blaming Ukraine for sending 91 drones to Putin's house in Valdai. And Ukraine's like, of what? No. But this was a operation in motion, like from way before. This is Russia's false flag. They always do this. And Trump believed it because he came out and said, I'm really disappointed in Ukraine. They really don't want peace. Then the next
Meanwhile, Putin's pummeling Ukraine. What the
Yeah.
Then the next day, actually, this Radcliffe guy, he comes in and he still has Trump's ear. And that's when Trump overturned and he's posted the article that he saw at like New York Times saying that it was indeed a Russian false flag operation. So he didn't have the guts to say it himself, obviously, but at least there's that acknowledgement because he was really blaming Ukraine for not wanting peace and Putin really manipulated him. It was embarrassing. And I think the intelligence community, like this Radcliffe guy, like you're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
This we don't have any evidence that Ukraine did this. None.
Yeah.
You're going off by lied to you that wants you manipulated and wants you to look like a fool.
You can only embarrass yourself if you have a sense of shame.
It makes no sense because heretofore Ukraine has been very calculating in how they've employed their missile and drone strikes, hitting key infrastructure or hitting military targets. And to waste 91 drones attacking a dacha.
Yeah.
And there's perfectly fine refineries to hit.
Yeah.
Come on.
It runs counter to everything that's gone before.
It was purposely done to trick Trump in that regard because Trump would have done it in a personal, no, just get him kind of way. So, I mean,
Trump is one of the, decapitation strike great aficionados.
Well, didn't Trump or the American army attack a certain president's house?
Yeah.
Like today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is that
your point is
literally hours ago, right?
I mean, do as I say, not as I do, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the key thing there is the difference between a decapitation strike on an authoritarian regime has a good chance of producing useful results, because everything has to go up the hierarchy. People can't make decisions on their own. They have to get the blessing of the guy above them. But if you do it on a democracy, taking out the leader doesn't do anything in those terms, because you've got a designated line of succession that everybody defers to. The chain of command works, and so
all you've done is piss off the beehive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when we attacked during the invasion of Iraq, and we dumped all those missiles on presidential palaces. Even though it didn't kill Saddam, that mere act alone caused enormous disruption to their command and control facilities, because he immediately had to go into hiding, and that called into question every order that people down the chain were getting. Is this legitimately from the supreme leader or not?
Right.
Yeah, the Russians, killing Zelensky or whatever. I pray to God it never happens, but it would be like spitting on a fish.
It would be a tragedy, but it's not going to cause a collapse of the system.
No, just everybody's going to be even madder and work harder, to fight and win.
But authoritarians don't think in that mentality. They are convinced
they don't believe that people have their own individuality.
The game is over.
Yeah.
I also forgot to say, Maduro was talking a lot of shit about Zelensky, and Maduro was saying how, Zelensky is going to get canned and stuff like that. And then, next thing you know.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he's being dragged by his pinky toe out the bedroom door.
Look, they made a deal, okay? Putin said, hey, you let me take Ukraine, I'll let you have my buddy in Venezuela. Yeah. And maybe Greenland, too.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, that it's not Trump's to give.
Yeah,
so
these guys are making deals with things they don't own.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't have the cards now,
Yeah. God, I'll never forget that moment. Oh, he's like, I'm not playing cards. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. God, it must be like, I would love in, a year after Trump passes away, I'd love to see Zelensky sit down and give an honest interview of what it was like dealing with that flatulent fucking windbag.
I think we're going to get a lot of stories once, all this is well and over and done. We're going to get a very interesting memoir.
Oh, yeah.
Very.
I hope so. I'm gonna sleep with it and cuddle it and
Me too.
Yeah, it'll bring back our sanity, man.
Yeah.
So somebody in the chat, Thomas Peterson asked, James, do you have any intel on the IR jammers in the Shaheds interfering with the interceptor drones? IR, infrared, right? Which I didn't know there were infrared jammers, but I mean there are ways to interfere with that. Yeah, I mean that's going to be a cat and mouse game that is just constantly evolving. Okay. And, eventually everything's going to go fiber optic. Yeah, fiber optic interceptors, they've already got fiber optic Millennia drones. So yeah, it is a problem, but it's not an unsolvable one. Sorry to get all technical on you guys all of a sudden, but
Go ahead. It's your time, James. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the time to get technical.
Yeah. So anybody in the chat or whoever wants to ask some, drone questions or what have you, I'm all ears. Oh, so somebody asked, what is fiber optic? That's a good question. I don't know. Somebody else.
Think of a drone trailing a fishing line.
Yeah. So
all the commands are going through the fishing line to tell the drone where to go.
Yeah. So basically, generic YouTube handling of fiber optic. So you know how optics is like your like these are my optics here, okay? And you know how like fiber is something like you get in like your breakfast cereal, for example, right? So just imagine I took my glasses and put them and poured milk on it and then ate it. That's fiber optic. There you go. Does that help?
Commander's
Yes.
laughing. It's so funny.
Please, I have a weak heart.
James, this image goes well with the infrared there, right?
Oh, look at that.
That's
Johnny found that in the
new
background
thing.
real quick.
That's a new thing that Russians are started to do to kind of blind Ukrainian interceptor drones with infrared lights that they're attaching to the
Strobe.
back of their wings.
Sure.
And so that was the question to you. Is that effective? Is that going to stop our interceptor drones, or is that just another fad?
I mean,
just-
okay, so
Wouldn't you just adjust for the extra light, close the iris some, and boom, you're all right? Like,
yeah, so yeah, exactly. So the IR, so there are heat-seeking missiles, heat-seeking drones, let's call them. Okay, so they are IR-seeking drones, and this is a development where they can be automated in some way. Okay, and that would prevent that. Okay, or inhibit the ability of those automated drones that are homing in on a heat signature, and it would limit but not prevent the damage. So in other words, if your Shahed's getting hit on the outer part of the wing, then you're more likely to be able to take some evasive maneuvers, and that's another thing that these Shaheds are doing. But IR's infrared signatures is not the only thing that they're homing in on. Okay, you can home in on sound. You can home in on visual optics, even at night. Okay, there's and then radar as well. So it's
yeah. I think that's more for them to feel good about themselves in the end, really.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying a lot of different things. Look, what's really going to fix the problem, in my humble opinion, is for the Ukrainian cellular providers to be able to actively detect IMEI numbers and cross-reference them to some kind of a database and figure out which, because that's how these drones are being controlled, right? These Shaheds, in most cases.
Wow, wouldn't that turn the table for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The evolution of drone warfare is so reminiscent to me of early aerial warfare during World War I,
Totally.
with the constant changing and evolution of how things went. And, there were things that people tried that worked, things that didn't work, like putting steel plates on your propeller so you could shoot a machine gun through your propeller. Not so good, because the bullets tended to bounce back and hit you.
Yeah. But the ingenious solution of having it all timed so that the shots go through, that's brilliant engineering, man. I love that kind of stuff.
There's a question for the panel, but I think this is mostly for James, from Gen Consensus, asking, I heard some people claim Russia had taken some drone advantage on the battlefield in 2025. Is that accurate? Is Russia targeting Ukrainian drone ops and logistics?
Yeah, in some ways, I would say, with regards to fiber optic, they have had an advantage over the past year in terms of mass manufacturing. And then the second thing that they've really had is the fixed wing, the super cheap fixed wing drones, not just Shaheds, but I would say Millennia, Italmas, that type of stuff. And it's about scale. It's about scaled manufacturing. So Ukraine develops the technology, okay, and then 2 weeks later, because remember, we got to send these drones to the Russians, and hopefully they blow up. Sometimes they don't. The Russians, if they don't blow up, They can take that and say, hey, guys, look at what Ukraine's doing. 2 weeks later, Russia has 1,000 of those damn things. So
Yeah,
this is the
I've been
this is the
hearing
constant
that
problem.
that Russia, but sometimes Ukraine would steal Russian ideas off of Russian drones as well.
Absolutely. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's going back and forth, and I'm right in the thick of it.
Ah, so you steal Russian ideas.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
The good ones.
We get Russian drones. They come into the lab. We take a look at them and go, oh, they're using this. They're using that. Okay, we could do that. I see. Maybe some, or most of the time we say, oh my God, this is total crap. But every once in a while there's something.
Yeah.
Yep. Another question for the panel. The Ukrainian embassy in Norway told me donations can be made directly to commanders. Is that still the case? This is from Johnny Nedregard. Sorry.
Yeah. I actually responded to that in chat as well. Because I saw that. Not to commanders per se, but to units, specific units.
Right.
And then the commander, here's a problem, right? This is a lesson in why tariffs are bad. Okay? And why tariffs are bad. Ukraine has tariffs between 15 and 30% on anything above $150 value. All right? It's ridiculous. Okay? It's terrible for Ukraine's economy, both import and exports. It's just awful. And so anything that you donate to Ukraine, again, over $150 in value, if you want it to go to help Ukraine, if you don't want the person receiving it to be charged a 30% tax or something on whatever it is, then you have to have a request letter from the commander or their designee, some officer or something in the battalion or unit that you're sending the stuff to. Okay. And that's the key. That's the thing. Okay. So it's not directly to commanders, but yeah. So, now there are NGOs or charitable foundations, nonprofits, that you can transfer from one nonprofit to another nonprofit. Okay. And that's a way things can work as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have that and you want to send something to Ukraine and it has that, I've had donations come to me that I had to say, I don't have any way to take this without paying like 700 euros in freaking tax on it. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And this is it's a holdover, I would argue. Maybe Johnny or Slavie, you can argue with me about this. It's a holdover from like the Soviet Union, where imports were taxed, that incredibly because they didn't want people getting foreign stuff or whatever. And it's again, Ukraine has a flat income tax, so they don't have progressive taxation.
Right.
So the government, to some degree, relies on this, but it really shoots the Ukrainian economy in the foot. This is
wow.
If Ukraine could make any changes outside of the military ones, the two most important changes would be to get rid of almost all tariffs and move towards progressive taxation. Those two things would massively help the Ukrainian economy and funding the Ukrainian government.
Good points.
It is a leftover from a pre-war economy that Ukraine was having. And it does hurt Ukraine right now. Ukraine, in this case, is also trying to walk a tightrope, because any kind of changes that they're doing, it sparkles outrage in Poland, in Romania. It's also fueled by Russian misinformation. So whenever Ukraine is trying to ease some of these restrictions or things that are making it harder for Ukraine to obtain certain products, it's viewed, let's say, by Polish farmers like an attack on Polish economy. Then it's fueled by Russian misinformation campaigns. Then we have Polish people standing on Russian border and blocking trucks coming into Ukraine. We've had that happen before. So unfortunately, it's when Ukraine is trying to change some of these things, it's an act of war, and we have to fight with Russian propaganda machine, with Polish farmers, with a bunch of different things in all those areas. So it's really hard to do. But at the same time, like James, you already mentioned some of this. Ukraine did create all kinds of exceptions where this would apply, like for commanders, for NGOs, for things like that. And volunteers, they kind of figured it out, and they have like these networks where they can send from one to another to kind of get around.
I'm in the process of finally breaking down and creating an NGO or a charitable foundation here in Ukraine and a nonprofit in the United States for this purpose. I should have done it 3 years ago, and it's scary to me. I'll face 1,000 drones and freaking Russians or whatever before I want to face 1 page worth of bureaucratic paperwork.
Yeah.
You know? But it has to be done. It has to be done.
We do have a couple of more questions.
Sure.
It Wasn't Me is asking the Shills, is Yermak at the front line yet? I heard he said he'd go there next.
I mean, maybe. Respect if he does.
I mean, last time I heard he dipped instead.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Heard he went to Israel.
Yeah. Oh, really? Is that it? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the other guy, Mirdic, he dipped and went to Israel. So I'm thinking Yermak went there as well.
Maybe he meant the front line in Israel.
Or Yermak has family in Miami. Maybe he's in the United States.
Yeah, there's a front line there, I think.
In Miami.
Yeah, it's the line between those that look like they're made of leather and those that are just getting to that point, right? It's right on the beach, right?
Right.
Yep.
He's right there along on the scooter with Dmitriev. Oh my gosh. Did you guys see the photo of Dmitriev riding the waves in Miami? This like Russian, you guys know Russia's economic guy, and he was just, using the United States as his backyard.
Wow.
Yeah. No, general consensus just said Greg Terry says he has to make customs declarations and insane paperwork and pay taxes on relief supplies he brings. This is the nightmare that I have avoided, but it's just inevitable. On my website on the whyukraine.com, that the donations on there go to 2 places. So the top part goes directly to my battalion's fund, which is operated by Azov 1, which is the charitable foundation for Azov, and then the stuff further down, just to be very clear, that goes directly to me, to my American bank account, and I have Google Pay, and I basically go online and order the stuff that we need to the shops or Epicenter, which is like Home Depot here, when we need different tools and stuff. And there are limitations on that. Oh, if you want to show this is something I'm trying. Okay, I tried. I swear to God, you guys, I tried to find a Ukrainian producer for this merch, and I just couldn't because of the tariff issues that I just described. They don't do international shipping in the kind of way that I needed this. So this is it's a I designed these. It's very simple. If you want to get like a sticker for your laptop or to put on your car, if you want to have a poster to hang on your wall, a sweater, a t-shirt, very simple. Just show everybody you support Ukraine. And that's the way to do it. The sweaters there.
How cool you're gonna look in that. Like, very cool. I definitely endorse the design.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the sweaters on the sleeve actually have the
that gray one is actually dope. The colors and the contrast.
There's a bunch of different colors, and they actually have on the sleeve there, it has the Why Ukraine symbol, which is the tree of Gondor, surrounded by the compasses of NATO.
Oh, cool.
And the blue is the color of the EU flag, and it's in the circle of like the NATO the EU stars, but it's NATO symbols. I just wanted to mix everything up in there, and then so
That's cool.
One should make sweaters again. This is when the Maidan protests were happening. They spelled Ukraine with EU. Ukraine. Ukraine. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a nice way to show your support and be able to walk around town and everybody can see where you stand. Basically, that's the
cool.
idea. Yeah, the front and the back, and the inside, and the whole bit. So
awesome.
Yeah, I hope somebody buys them and likes them. And basically, 50% of the money goes to support my laboratory. That's how that works. So not too shabby.
Cool.
So I do have one more news article to do, and this is really important. U.S. and Ukrainian officials are issuing new warnings that Russia may be preparing a large-scale mass casualty attack targeting civilians following a series of record-breaking New Year drone and missile barrages across Ukraine. According to Ukrainian military reports, Russia opened 2026 with the largest aerial assault of the entire war, launching over 320 drones in just 48 hours. The attacks struck major cities, including Kiev, Odessa, Kharkiv was in my hometown, was struck terribly, Volyn, Izmail, and Kavel. With Ukrainian officials saying the pattern suggests Russia is testing air defenses ahead of a larger operation. U.S. officials publicly condemned the strikes, saying Russia is needlessly killing a lot of people, unusually blunt language that signals Washington sees a serious escalation risk.
Right.
So...
one thing that I'd just like to say is those maps that you see of the incoming, the attacks and the Shaheeds and the missiles and things, what they don't show is that in the frontline towns, like, where I am, within, let's say, 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers of like 25 miles, let's say, of the occupied territory of the front line. There's constant Shaheeds, Millennias, which are the fixed wing drones, shorter range fixed wing drones, other FPVs coming in and attacking houses and civilians, and it's so much that they don't even bother to report it. So it's just ongoing, constantly, all the time.
Yep. On New Year's Day, Russia hits Echo Park, a zoo around near Kharkiv, and they had lions there, birds, and they hit it. There quite a few dead animals. I don't think the lions were injured, but not dead, but a lot of like birds and stuff like that. Animals like got wiped out by
It's awful.
Russia's drones. And I mean, why are you hitting an echo park, a zoo?
Yeah.
I mean, animals are better than Russian creatures, I swear.
By far. Even the honey badger is way cooler, right?
Way cooler.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you guys seen the cavalry? The Russian cavalry?
Yeah.
Good God.
you're joking, right? Like,
No.
It's disgusting. It's
What do you think was
Oh,
going to
no,
be? They
no.
had donkeys. Now they're doing cavalries with horses.
They're riding in on horses, but it's not like it's more like 2 or 3 horses at a time. Usually like two horses maximum. It's not like a full on like horns blowing.
sure, it's not just dudes in suits being rode around on. Like,
that's a possibility.
wouldn't they
There's
eat the
actually-
horse?
That's next, Dick. That's
Yeah.
next.
There's a funny meme actually that's like how Russia has downgraded. So 2022 tanks 2023 like biker or like scooters
Yeah,
or whatever,
mopeds.
and then like so now it's down to horses. But guys, Ukraine did not hurt the horses. Ukraine kept the horses.
Ah,
We love
Yeah.
horses. Don't
Amazing.
push the horses.
Don't push them.
There's a very good video how Ukraine drone operator, he specifically did his best not to hurt the horse, and he did hurt the guy riding it, and her horse survived, and Ukraine
Well, the horse bucked him off. The horse bucked said
Smart
You know,
horse.
said the horse said "Ruck Fusha," and it's a Ukrainian horse, obviously. So
I never-
said Slava Ukraine.
yeah. I never thought this song would pertain to Russia, but they'll be riding 6 white horses when they come. I mean, what the fuck?
yeah.
I just was not expecting that.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Just in contrast, like Russia targets Zeus, and Ukraine, when they need to take, an orc out, they save the horse.
Yeah. Attack a
contrast
zoo.
there.
Who does that?
yeah,
They're
I
fucking animals, man.
I just want to let you guys know that I have asked all the guys in my unit to send me videos of all their cats. So it's going to be coming up on my channel in the next couple of weeks. We're going to start seeing.
Ooh.
You're going to have a lot of pussy on your channel. Is that what you're telling us?
it's YouTube, not OnlyFans, Dan. Because we almost every safe house except for mine. I because I live on a little bit higher floor, so I don't have freaking mice and rats coming in. But out in the blindages, out on the front line, we always have cats out there, especially in winter, because the mice just like everything we just have to stop fighting Russians for when the first cold hits. It's because we're fighting like the hordes of mice coming in, and it is a real like a health risk. And one of my friends was just mentioning like, I woke up with like a giant rat curled up on my hand. You just imagine like they're climbing the walls, and it's almost impossible to keep them out. So having a good cat at least helps.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, it's probably half the reason why there's a relationship between cats and humans, right? Is they're useful.
I just delivered about a month ago. Delivered three kittens from my home in Ukraine to my guys out here, and they're being put to good use, for sure, and very valuable. So
yeah, cool. What time do we got? Okay.
Who wants to hear the story of mice destroying a panzer division?
Oh, well, definitely. Yeah.
I
So
do
in
have
42
one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, no.
I was going to say, in 1942, just before the Soviets launched Operation Uranus, which is the one where they surrounded the German 6th Army in Stalingrad, one of the reserve units that the Germans had behind the lines that was supposed to react and repel such attacks was the 27th Panzer Division. They dug their tanks in to protect them from artillery fire, but because when winter set in, the mice showed up trying to get away from all the cold, they went into the tanks and ate all the insulation off the starter wires and such. And so when the Russians attacked, none of the tanks could start.
Yeah. I believe it. It's and honestly, in the blindages, in the bunkers, we got all kinds of wires going out for antennas and stuff. And yeah, it's a real risk, Yeah. So it's a real thing for sure.
Slavie.
Good rats. I do want to do one more news article, close kind of on a hopeful note. Ukraine enters 2026 with the largest stockpile of Western military aid since the war began.
Wow.
This is the year Ukraine's capabilities jump forward. Jets, radar, long-range missiles, and Ukrainian-made ballistic systems all coming online. And the Kremlin, they know this. You know, all the spots that Zelensky visited throughout 2025, we're finally going to see these weapons in 2026. And actually, Ukraine has some of them now. And yeah, that's why Russia is suddenly performing these large-scale attacks. This is, they don't want to make peace. This is to manipulate the narrative. They want to stall this Western support and buy time before Ukraine's 2026 arsenal fully comes online. They're not negotiating Russians. They're sabotaging negotiations while pretending to want negotiations.
Exactly.
Because if they wait too long, they lose their leverage. But let's hope that Russia keeps playing the hand they've been playing for the last couple of days, and they're gonna lose their leverage completely. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. I like hearing the stockpile of weapons and, you know, being ready for some good stuff, because that means we'll get to use that button when we're doing some news coming up very soon.
Yep.
I want to hear some, yeah, baby, we wrecked some fucking shit.
I think that's what we're gonna get, because I'm seeing here this isn't about new weapons. Ukraine is building an integrated strike ecosystem with radars and jets, air defense, long-range missiles, and Ukrainian-made ballistic systems. Don't forget the long-range, like Flamingo.
Yeah.
And this is Ukraine escalation control, the ability to dictate the tempo, timing, and depth of strikes. That's pretty awesome.
I agree.
I think Ukraine will have the weapons to go on the offense more rather than on the defense.
Yep.
And you win wars, Commander Macmillan, correct me if I'm wrong, when you're on the offense, not on the defense.
Right. Very true. You can't really win a defensive war. You can stall for time with a defensive war and hope that your opponent bleeds himself out, leading to you being able to go over to defensive.
Yeah, you know, one of the
Trump, Commander Macmillan.
I'm sorry?
Did you hear that from Trump, Commander Macmillan? Are you repeating Trump's wisdom? The wisdom of Trump.
Trump, Frederick the Great, Napoleon, you know, one of those guys.
One of the big articles that gave me a hard on the past week is seeing Ukraine use a 50-kilometer fiber optic FPV.
Wow.
To take out, I believe it was a tank or a APC. I can't remember. But yeah, so that shows you where things are going and how deep the front line actually is. It's not a line anymore. It's a big fuzzy area.
It's looking a little bit more like a TNG neutral zone.
Yep.
No man's land, kind of. Yeah. Yep. And also, you know, the advances that are happening with, I think that Ukraine in general is a little bit ahead in terms of ground drones and specifically automated turrets. Okay. And that is, these automated turrets are out there for, you know, I don't know how they resupply them, but automated or remote controlled turrets that are, you know, defending a zone for like a month at a time. And just, yeah. And, you know, just amazing. And that's really going to be when the ground drone, this 2026 is going to be the year of the ground drone, right? 2025 was the year of the fiber optic drone, and this is going to be the year of the ground drone, guys.
I would say that 2025 also gets some credit as being a step up on naval drones as well. You know, there's some very successful operations there. You know,
yeah, it was really the big. It's not as
prolific, but there's been some step up in success.
24 was the big one for naval drones.
Yeah.
And then
Just
their
recently, Ukraine sunk.
technology is maturing, I think.
Yeah.
Ukraine sunk a submarine.
Yeah.
A submarine, like, just even saying that submarine, like,
It was in port. Let's be honest here.
yeah, but
Yeah.
still
So
sunk it.
2025 or 2024 was the year of naval drones. Maybe 2027 will be the year of belly button drones.
Micro drone swarms.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably that actually, but yeah.
Yeah. I think as this
Read
progresses,
David Brin if you want to know about where drone warfare is likely to go.
I'm looking forward to the the shrink factor. You know, once we get that next jump in battery tech where you can contain more power in a smaller space and not have the weight penalty of batteries and stuff. I can't wait to see what drones can become then.
Yeah. So, a couple of people in the chat are asking about biodegradable fiber.
Not a high
Glass.
priority.
It's made of glass.
Yeah.
It's made of glass. It's literally meant to be buried in the ground and last forever. And in the ocean and last forever. There's fiber optic running all over this world, probably through your backyard, and you don't even know it. And it's going to be there forever. On the plus side, it's glass. So it's basically just rock. So biodegradable, no, but degradable in the sense that it can be broken and then it turns into sand eventually if you step on it enough.
Yeah.
After, a couple thousand
Not
years.
terrible for environment like plastic.
Well, I mean, yes and no. It's
still a hazard to wildlife and stuff and whatnot while it's just hanging in trees and everything and so on.
Well, I mean, I told you guys my time team plan, right? I've told you this, right? Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do archaeological digs. We're gonna have a whole show all over Ukraine. It's gonna be that's how we're gonna clear up all these mines and the fiber, and then we're gonna discover all these amazing, ancient discoveries all over Ukraine. It's gonna be a great YouTube channel. I'm telling you.
It's awesome.
We'll finally find out about the Scythians.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
Which,
dude.
by the way, Russia stole Scythian gold from Ukraine. We want that back.
Yeah.
Well, there's more. I think there's more buried in many, many kurgans and other such things.
There's so much history that we don't know and that happened on Ukrainian territory that needs to be excavated. And, so that's why, James, you're doing an awesome thing. It's very interesting. I mean, Ukraine, the territory of Ukraine was the oldest city in the world, older than Mesopotamia.
Yep. 1,000 years before Uruk or Lagash or any of those places in Sumer. Ukraine had the first and largest cities in the world, between 10 and 30,000 people in the Kukutani Tripilia culture. And they may have invented the first system of writing, or at least proto-writing that we know of. They invented the wheel. That's 100% known now. The Ukrainians did. It's kind of both sides of the Yamnaya culture. All right, don't get me started.
And the houses that were the Ukraine,
dude,
those cities had
Tripilia houses are awesome.
Yeah, they were built in like systems and like these circles, and
they would be comfortable to live in today, to be honest with you, and beautiful too. So they were painted, like, instead of being just plain white or brown or something, they were painted with all these crazy designs on the walls. And we know this because they built clay models of their houses.
Yeah.
And we know how they were constructed. It's just amazing stuff. Also, Dick, you should know that smoking cannabis was invented, and in fact, cannabis was first cultivated as a crop in Ukraine.
Yeah. So if that doesn't tell you
what?
smart these mofos are.
Wait, Slavie, you didn't know this?
Slavie's reaction.
I'm going to blow everyone away. Oh my God.
What?
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
the Yamnaya culture, which were on the eastern and southern side of the Dnipro, and they're actually they were the Proto-Indo-Europeans. So they are the culture from which all of our languages and 50% of our DNA are descended. And almost every single one of their graves, they're the ones who built the first kurgans, right? The hill mound things that were copied all over across Europe. And almost all of them, those graves contain cannabis. And
Yeah.
one reason they think that what they were doing as part of the burial ritual is they would basically hotbox the room that they were doing the burial in.
This is
They'd
the
have
first time hotbox has ever been used in an archaeological discussion.
You're
Right
hearing
now.
it here first on the Shills.
I worked on an archaeological dig on a Yamnaya 4000 BC archaeological dig on Hortitsia Island. And was really cool was I got to, given my expertise being from California, I got to teach the archaeologists how the Yamnaya people who had no
Hotboxed?
farming, well, they had an idea about that, but how the Yamnaya people who had no farming, it was the Tripilia people who were doing the farming. The Yamnaya were herdsmen, they had cows and sheep and all that. But they were like, yeah, but they had cannabis. How were they farming cannabis all the time if they weren't farmers? So I had to show them how a semi-nomadic people could cultivate cannabis the right way, without getting too many seeds in their stash,
Yeah.
and
You want some good sense of
friend will
media,
never
man.
hear the
all of
end of this. Oh my
the
God.
skills that I gained in living in California really came in handy. That I was able to make a contribution to science.
This is the perfect moment. We got to clear up any super chats and get our wrap ups in. We're cutting short on time here. I'm going to quickly shout out our team here on the Shills. We got Shayna Mexigirl, Liam Wakefield, Chris Lundy, and Jose Cervantes. And Jose's got a member message in our chat as well here. Trump and Putin never had the cards. They just can't handle the fact that they're fucking losers. And I mean, they're playing card games with things they don't even own. So it's a good shout for sure. And I want to give a huge shout out to all the supporters on the channels around here listening and watching this show with us. We had Johnny Netregard, Niles Knudsen, Jose in over here. If I switch, we got David N, and we had Stephen Walsh as well. So huge thanks, everybody. I'll pass to Slavie here.
All right. I have a couple of super chats from Papa Dutch. Thank you so much for sending them. And he's saying, in theory, you can drop a micro transporter that reports ground tremors, sounds, and even gas emissions.
Ooh,
Interesting.
that's good.
Next
Is that
up,
for telling if somebody farts or what?
I guess, yes.
Do you have one of those, Dick?
No, but I might be putting in an order.
Great, you can live stream that.
Yeah.
Everybody will watch that.
Next super chat is also from Papa Dutch saying, James, the things that are difficult are put there so that we can gain their gifts.
Oh.
Another super chat from Papa Dutch. Thank you so much. On a roll today.
Yeah.
Those zoo animals are somewhat tame. If you find one, treat it kindly. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
And one more, last one. He's saying, I can't believe I have done all of these super chats and only just now hit the like.
Yes.
Well,
Dutch,
it's a perfect
thank
reminder.
you so much for sending the super chats and hitting the like. And everybody else, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here and hit like and share. That really helps the channel out so much. Also, I'd like to thank the moderators today, YOLO Swaggins, SSW Custom, Broadcast Cat, and Salt of the Red Earth. You guys are awesome. Rock stars. Love you. You did your thing, and thank you all so much.
Very much. Last second super chat here on the shills. Johnny Negregard in with did Kadyrov eat it?
Yeah. He's on his way out, but he's not out yet.
I still thought we were talking about cannabis. I thought he was talking about edibles or something. All right.
Kadyrov has pancreatic cancer. It's progressed to the necrosis state, so that suggests, 48, 72 hours likely.
So yeah, he's probably on the edibles then. I think that was good insight, James.
Not sure I'd want to eat that.
Yeah. So roundtable goodbyes. What do you think, Slavie?
Yep, let's do it. Let's wrap it up. James, you're up.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks everybody who's watching the stream today, and we really appreciate your comments. I had some really amazing questions. I hope nobody was too offended by my jokes that I made about some of your questions, but it was all in good fun. And I just would like to ask you all to, if you can, please help support my unit, which is the Azov International Battalion. That's specifically, so it's 1st Azov Corps, 12th Special Purpose Brigade, 3rd International Battalion is the actual term. And so if you can go to whyukraine.com, every little bit helps. If you can't, then like, subscribe, share that website, share this live stream, and that will help a great deal as well.
Well said.
Дуже дякую, everybody.
Thank you so much, James, for being here. Johnny, any final thoughts?
Yeah, we're only 3 days into the new year, and what a crazy start to 2026. I'm just, I cannot even comprehend what this year will bring. But one thing is for sure, as long as you support Ukraine, you are on the winning team. Support Ukraine, and Russia will be defeated.
Good words, man.
Well said.
Good one.
Commander McMillan, final thoughts?
Here's hoping that 2026 will not be the year of here, hold my beer.
Mhm.
Other than that, my usual admonition to everybody, please continue to correspond with your elected officials, phone them, email them, write them letters, postcards, what have you. Let them know Ukraine is important to you. That way, and only that way, will we ensure that U.S. continues to at least do some level of support.
Well said, man. Well said.
said.
Take us out.
One last
Oh,
thing
okay.
I will tell people. Somebody had a question. Somebody was saying that I'm wearing earrings, and I will let you know, these are not earrings. These are U-bolts, like from the hardware store, if you can see there.
Oh.
Yeah, because earrings are not allowed in the army, okay? There's not earrings. I'm keeping my supplies. I need this for some reason in the lab,
That's a loophole if I've ever seen one.
Well done.
All right. Well,
Take us home, Slavie. What do you got?
All right. My computer keeps crashing. So I do have one more from Papa Dutch saying Razem do rekonstrukcji. Together for reconstruction. And I think I'll do a shorter closing today because we talked a lot. I do want to close with what Zelensky said recently, and it says it all right there. He's saying, we want the end of the war, not the end of Ukraine. Are we tired? Extremely. Does that mean we're ready to surrender? Those who think so are deeply mistaken. So on that note, guys, thank you all so much. And this was Ukraine Update. We'll see you next time. Thank you all so much. Thank you to the panel. Stay fierce, be brave like Ukraine, and Slava Ukraine.
Heroes,
Rome.
Slava.
Slava.
See you soon, everybody.
Go home. Go.